Welcome to another episode of the Dalitalks podcast, where you can find a lot of resources for yourself as a parent and parenting guidance. And of course, I throw in a lot of bullying awareness and prevention information because that is an issue that is very important to me, and I know it is for a lot of you. So my guest today is Lizette Linares. She's a Latina, first-generation Mexican-American who created a line of health supplements to help nuestras Latinas. So she's going to be telling us a little bit about her story. And, so as you listen, I hope that you gather some questions and post them in the comments below. Reach out to her, check her out at madremiabelleza.com. Okay, welcome to the show, Lizette. Thank you so much for making time. I know that we've had a few challenges scheduling this out, and so I'm very excited that we're making it happen. How are you doing today?
I am good. Yeah, thank you for being so patient with me. I think a couple of times it's been either or, and life. It's just life. So we're making it work. We finally made it here, and I'm excited to chat with you.
Yeah, me too. So I met you via Instagram. I think it might have been Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Yeah, Clubhouse. Yeah, it's like you meet so many people, you forget where you meet them. You just know it was somewhere online.
Somewhere online.
Yeah. And that's why I love, being online, because you meet amazing people that you probably wouldn't get the chance to meet. And what I found so interesting about you is that you created supplements for specifically for Latinas. And that's rare in that industry to see a Latina do that. So before I dive into that part of what you do, tell us a little bit about, where you're from, where did you grow up, and what do you think happened or influenced you as a child that led up to your supplement company?
Yes. So I am Mexicana. I currently live in Houston, but I originally grew up and was born in McAllen, Texas, which is a border town, South Texas, like the southernmost tip. And yeah, I grew up there. So I was very lucky because I got to experience Mexico. Like we would go there every weekend, every summer. We would spend our summers in Mexico, and really was able to take in all that culture and my gente. And, because it's different than being in Texas or anywhere in the U.S. Even here in Houston, like although there's a lot of Latinos here, it's very disconnected from what life is actually like in Mexico. And just your everyday, it's a lot more hands-on, I feel. I'm sure that's changed obviously with time, because that was like 25 years ago, right, that I grew up going to Mexico. But yeah, so growing up and going to Mexico, I got to experience a lot of, the different flavors and costumbres, right? Like using aloe vera and plants, right, to kind of like take care of wounds. I used to go to a farm in the middle of nowhere. Like they didn't have any doctors here. They didn't have any, like, nothing, right? Tenían curanderas. They had ladies that you would go to si te pasaba algo. And I used to go there every single summer. And I would always get hurt. Siempre me pasaba algo. Because, it was in the middle of like, íbamos a un monte, like we would go exploring, we would even go and help my tío at the labores, and like, we were out there doing stuff. We thought it was so fun. But anyway, one day we were walking to some lady's house, and she had a dog, little puppies. Well, this dog completely we didn't see the mom, so we were looking at the puppies. Well, me and my sister were standing there looking at these puppies. Well, the dog saw us from far, and I see that dog just coming at us, like she thought that we were doing something to these poor puppies. Well, I run, and then I see my sister like stood there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go back and grab her, and as I'm pushing her, like, towards safety, the dog bits me. It was awful, so traumatic. But I remember going to the curandera, and she would like bring all these plants and concoctions and, you know, put it on my leg. And every single day I had to go to her so she could treat me with these plants. So, you know, from that, just like seeing how, you know, we're so resourceful and there is so much in the tierra that helps us that we don't even think about, right? So when I had this opportunity to create my own brand of self-care products, I wanted to include supplements, but I didn't just want to do your cookie cutter, you know, everyday supplement that you see at the grocery store. I wanted it to be something that we see ourselves in, right? And like you said, it's not a market that you see Latinas in very much because it's just not, at least I have never seen a supplement brand that's I in the US specifically that is geared towards Latina women, and not only geared like in the branding aspect of it, which I'm super proud of, but also in the ingredient aspect. Using things like maca roots and aloe vera and chamomile and, you know, things like this that we grew up using, that we grew up taking, you know, all these teas and, you know, ointments and stuff like that. And I really wanted to include that in our products and have those ingredients in our products that you would be able to read a label and be like, oh, I know what, you know, that's what we used to use for this or that. So yeah, that's kind of how that came about.
I love that, knowing that you had that experience as a child and that you went to the curanderas. And for those of you who don't know what a curandera is, it's pretty much a medicine woman. And you know, what Western society tends to believe about all the natural ingredients is that they're not good enough because they're not like created at some lab. You know, it's crazy because the earth provides what people need and what the earth needs, and we underestimate its power, and it's really sad. So when I've never been a user of supplements because of all of the articles and things that I read that, you know, you take something and then it helps this thing, but you have something new, you know, a new ailment, a new condition. Yeah. So I'm always very, very careful with what I put in my body because of that. And when I saw your ingredients, I was really curious and I was waiting, like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to ask you a lot of questions about de dónde vienen los ingredients, you know, where are they coming from? What are they? And so I was looking at the one I ordered, which is a mood and stress support. And I'm looking at the ingredients and I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. You know, it's like ashwagandha extract. I know what that is. Chamomile, theanine. I actually don't know what that is, but kava kava, lemon balm extract. So, and then I go to your website, madremiabelleza.com. And I started reading about the ingredients because you have more information on there. And I was like, really, really cool. It's really from real plants. And of course, processed, you know, to put into a capsule. But tell me more about how did you begin the process? Because this is such a mysterious industry to me, at least, where like, how did you find the manufacturers? You know, how much research did you have to do to learn about like the process to make sure that your manufacturer was doing it the way that you wanted it and all that good stuff?
Yeah. So it's a big undertaking. And I was very lucky in the sense that I already had a connection in the industry that really guided me through all that. I am not a biochemist. I am not a scientist. I can't sit here and tell you I know everything that there is to know about every single supplement, ingredient, whatnot. So I have to do a lot of research on my end to make sure that obviously we're putting things in here that are good for you, that aren't going to harm you. And, you know, I was very lucky that I got to work with an amazing world-renowned biochemist that specializes in specifically foraging and, you know, what is good in herbs and plants, right? What are the plants that are good for you and what are the plants that go good with other plants to form those really good formulations. So he literally is a forager. Like, he goes out and teaches people about what like a lot of people that have big lands reach out to him and are like, hey, can you come out and teach us about our land? Like, what is here? And so he can tell you exactly what elderberry does for you. He can tell you where to find it, what areas, because literally, like, elderberry can be found anywhere. Like, we have it in Houston all over the place. And you would never think, oh, I can eat this plant, or I can take this plant for so-and-so thing that I'm going through, you know? So I was super lucky that I found him, and he was a great asset just in informing me, like, how these plants work and how they help us. And not only like how they helped our ancestors, right? How they used them. So I like I was telling you, the important thing to me was that we included ingredients that were from you know, our countries that we would recognize. So I did my own research, and I had to literally like go in and read about different ingredients that we've used and what they're good for and what can we put them on, how can we take them, like, is it only in ointment form, is it in a tea form, is, like, how can we use these. And then I had to go back to him and say, hey, look, this is the product that we're doing, these are ingredients that I found in my research that were good for him. And we kind of, it was a team effort, just making sure that we included those ingredients, and that, you know, we weren't just including them to include them, but that they were actually going to make a difference in the formulation that he was putting together for me. And then, you know, prior to this, the reason that I got into supplements specifically first was because I already had the connections to a manufacturing company here in Houston. So all our products are made locally. I already knew what manufacturing company that I was going to use, because they already had all the testing in place and all the certifications that they need to produce a good product. So yeah, it was really good to have somebody locally that I could kind of give this to and make sure, you know, and that I'm able to go and look at the facility and make sure that everything is being done right and all that, you know, because it's right here, opposed to like getting it somewhere else or somewhere overseas where I can't go and see exactly what they're doing, you know, as easily.
Wow, that's incredible. It's great that you had that connection, because yeah, that takes so much research. And I can imagine how long did it take you from beginning to the day of the launch?
So it was literally like, it happened fast in a sense, because obviously, like, if you don't know anything about the industry, it can probably take you a whole lot longer. But because I did already have everything in place, I already had who I was going to work with the formulations, I already knew what manufacturing company I was going to use. I literally started working on this in August of 2021. And then we had a product by January of 2022.
Oh, wow.
So within 6 months, we were able to produce a product, only one, but we started with one. And I'm like, okay, we have a product. Let's see what happens. So yeah, so now we have 4 products that you can find at madremiabelleza.com. And we're super proud of it.
Wow, that is pretty fast. And you're right. Like, I think that when most people don't have that connection or the awareness of, like, you know, the manufacturing company, I think a lot about the story of Spanx and how she didn't have anything and it took her a while, you know, but it all comes down to resilience and just like not giving up. And it's nice to know that you just from your childhood, having that awareness of certain plants, though, you know, maybe not at the level of that chemist or the biologist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you had an idea, which is very helpful. And then knowing how to research, you know, what to ask, what to look for is helpful. So I was looking at the label on your product, and it says at the very bottom, the statement on this label have not been evaluated by the FDA, pretty much. So tell me about that journey, because some people read that and they're like, oh, no, I'm not going to take that, because they rely too much on the FDA. But then the FDA has allowed a lot of toxic crap in our food, in our medicine, everything. So yeah, what is your take on getting approval by the FDA for your products?
So FDA actually does not approve supplements. No supplement is FDA approved unless it's like it's not an actual supplement. So I mean, it's one of those things that unfortunately in this category, you have to deal with, and you still have, although you're not certified by the FDA, there is still requirements that you have to abide by according to the FDA. So although like I'm not certified by the FDA, I still have to have certain things in my labels. I have to mention certain things in my labels. I can't just put any labels, because if I put something wrong or I omit something, or if I don't put how many you know, ounces or whatnot of each ingredient is on there, like all that, like if the FDA were to see that and they would say, hey, this is not compliant, you still have to be compliant to FDA certifications, but they won't actually say like, okay, you're approved.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I did read a while back. I believe I started using something that was like for collagen. And I was very, very apprehensive, like I just didn't want, like, I don't know. And my husband was like, oh, just give it a try. So I'm reading everything because that's how I am, right? And I noticed that too had that same statement that it's not FDA approved or certified.
Yeah.
And so I was going through one of those nutrition stores, looking at every single ingredient, and oh my gosh, so many of them. I don't think I found one that was approved by the FDA.
Yeah, they're not.
And so that was an eye opener, and that made me a little more skeptical. But then again, I had joined that bandwagon of, oh, it has to be approved by, and really, it doesn't. And that really, I mean, especially nowadays, I feel like the validity of their approval has declined a lot because of what's been going on in everything that we consume. So I wanted to mention that in case there are people out there they were just like me, where they were like, oh no, I'm not going to take that because FDA approved. Start looking at everything you have in your medicine cabinet or in your supplement cabinet, and take a look, and you will be surprised how many of them are not.
How many things are
FDA.
And there's people that are skeptical. They say, well, what is like the power of plants and herbs, right? Like those are sometimes people are skeptical about that, like what's that going to do? Like I need like scientific, something that's been done in the lab, like you said, this is not going to do anything for me. But for so many centuries, people, our ancestors have relied on plant medicine to cure themselves. And not only that, but like you literally drink coffee every day to give you a boost of energy, which is a plant.
Yes.
You literally, many people smoke weed, because of how it makes them feel. And that's a plant. There is power in plants. There's no denying that, I feel.
Yeah. And, this stems back to our ancestors. We come from indigenous people. And before colonizers came, we relied on Mother Earth for everything, and it worked, and people survived, and people were probably even healthier than now because of all the stuff in our foods. So you said the first product was, actually, no, you said you had one product at first. What was that product for?
It was the Greñuda Pero Fierce, the hair and nail supplement.
Oh shoot, I need to get that because I'm losing my hair. No, like seriously, like I have like balls like thinning and all. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so look at me, I'm all excited because people have told me like, oh, you gotta try Rogaine. I'm like, I don't know, that sounds very toxic, all these chemicals. Like, I mean, I'm already losing my hair. I've actually never dyed my hair. No, I take that back. I tried highlights back when I was in my 20s, but very, very like fearful of doing that. And I never went back to get them redone. Because of the hair loss, because I know that it runs in my family, and I know genetics, sometimes you can't fight it, but sometimes, what you put in your body makes a difference. So then your hair and nail supplement was your first one. And how did it do at first? Did you find any type of resistance with your public, or, how was that?
Yeah, I mean, like everything, it was a challenge for sure to get going. I was like, some days I sat no sales whatsoever, and it was like, okay, like what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? And I feel like I'm just not getting out to enough people. Like, how do I get people to trust this product, right? Because it's a product that you have to trust. You
Yeah.
have to trust me that I'm not going to give you something that is going to harm you, because it is something you're ingesting. I feel like that is the biggest thing. Like, people have to have some trust in the person that is selling them this type of product, especially when it's a small business, right? Because you don't know, like, where are they doing this? Are they doing this in their kitchen? Are they being safe about it? Are they, like, they don't know all this information. They don't know me. They don't know what I'm doing. So it took a while, like, to get, like, one, to, like, just educate people, like, hey, this is done safely. This is done in a manufacturing company. This is done, most of our ingredients that we're using are organic, and it's vegan, like, it's a vegan product, and it was just getting to that point of, like, teaching people, like, this is a safe product. No one is doing this in the back of their car or whatever. And, like, so it took a while to just establish that trust level, right? And I felt like once we started, like, seen more, I hit markets almost every weekend, and just, like, get out there and educate people, meet people, like, so that they know where this product is coming from. But it did take a while to establish that. So, thankfully, like, people, I feel like once people start trying it and taking it, like, they are seeing a difference in the health of their hair and their nails. And there's this lady who I adore. She ordered a bottle, and she's older. She's lost a lot of hair. She doesn't have a whole lot left. She's so funny. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I saw my nails are super strong. She's like, but my hair, like, it's not growing. Like, I'm not, like, looking super, like. She's like, but I am seeing hair that I haven't seen in ages. Like, it's, like, coming back in certain spots. And I'm like, that's awesome. So, like, it makes me so happy. This other lady reached out, and she was like, so this lady was actually one of my mom's friends, and I met her at a party that we had for my sister, and we were talking, and I told her, I'm like, oh, this is what I do, and just telling her about what I was doing in my business and whatnot. And then when she leaves, I told her, I'm like, look, here, take a bottle, try it out, see what you think, let me know. And she kind of just took it, like, I could tell she was kind of, like, hesitant, and she just kind of took it por quedar bien, not for any other reason. Like, I could see her skepticism, and I was like, okay, it's whatever. Like, if she tries, good, pues está bien. And then, like, a month later, this lady goes to my mom's job, and she's like, hey, Maria, I need some more pills. And she's like, what pills? What are you talking about? She's like, yeah, the pills. Your daughter gave me some pills. I really could use another bottle. And she's like, okay. Like, why? She's like, well, she's like, I started taking them, and I hadn't really noticed the difference, to be completely honest with you. But then my husband comes to me and says, and tells me, and I said, oye, vieja, ya no tienes el bald spot. She had a bald spot in the back of her head. So she couldn't see the husband, out of all the people in the world. You know how husbands are. Noticed that the bald spot was gone. Like, hair had started growing over it, that they couldn't see it anymore. So this lady has been coming back every month for a refill, because she's seen such great results with that. So I was so excited to hear that story, because I didn't even think, like, this lady's not even probably going to take it. And she's like, and she did, and she really liked the product. So that definitely was one of the first times that, because this was early on, and I was like, that I'm like, okay, I'm like, this is going to work. I'm like, this is going to work. I'm like, people are liking it. People are seeing results. I'm like, this is just a matter of, like, getting it into people's hands. So yeah, so, those moments were definitely, like, just motivation to continue to keep going, because I knew I had a good product, and it was just a matter of, not giving up.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that story, because I'm definitely going to try that one too, since I started with that mood and stress support, because I need that, because we go through, entrepreneurship can be so difficult at times, and I need a little boost. And I take something from a doctor, like, you know, and I'm always wondering, like, is there something more natural that I can take to help me, especially during those really rough life challenges moments or entrepreneurial challenges. So I'm going to buy that one, the Nair and hair ones, but I'm going to take before pictures because, you know, like that lady said, you can't really tell. Sometimes somebody has to point it out to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh my gosh, voy a hacer esa viejita with like a bald head and I'm going to have to wear like hair toppers or a wig. I remember my dad's mom was almost completely bald. And then now, you know, growing up, you're like, oh, it's genetics. My dad was bald by the time he was like 21. He had the thing.
Yeah.
And I learned that it's hereditary too. So like carried on through the mom. So I'm like, oh man, I should have probably started something way sooner to try to that. But anyway, so one of the things that I've read is that the capsule itself is sometimes harmful. Do you know like anything about that, or like any information you can tell us about the capsules that are used for your pills? Because you know what I did yesterday when I received it, I opened it up because ever since I read that, I open up the capsule and I just like ingest what's inside.
Yeah.
Because I heard that the capsules are sometimes harmful for you because how they break down the body.
Yeah. So the one that you got is actually a gelatin capsule, which is different from our other products. The other products are it's a vegan capsule, so that one completely, you won't have any issues with that. I wanted to give them both a try, because I know that different people prefer different things. So I did give the gelatin a try, which is just in that one product, the Chaleganas, and then we have our vegan capsule, which I think is the one that people are probably preferring. But the gelatin does look prettier because it's that blue color. I mean, you can have the gelatin in any color, but it's still a natural ingredient. It's just, you know, derived from something different than the vegan capsule, which is a vegetable capsule.
Yeah, it's like this pretty dark blue, which I mean, most people don't care about the aesthetic of it. But I tend to notice little things like that. So I was like, oh, this is cool. And I opened it up and I was like, okay, it's powder. I was like, oh, I'm gonna ask her, can I put this in my cafe?
You can. So that's what I recommend to everybody. If you are not because some people don't like taking pills, don't like that capsule, you know, especially supplement capsules seem to be a little bit bigger because you have to pack all those herbs and plants in there. But if you are not a pill drinker, if you don't like pills, I recommend you put in your smoothie, put in your morning smoothie and your yogurts and your any type of like, you know, substance that you can drink, and then it makes it a lot easier for you to take it. I recommend, like, if you're going to do it in a smoothie, like I've done this before where I make a banana smoothie and I put some smoothie in a shot glass. So then I take that and I make sure that I'm getting all of the pill, because then if I put it in a big glass and then I don't finish this, then I don't know how much of it I actually got. So I want to make sure that I got all of it. So that's definitely a way to do it if you are not a person that likes capsules.
Okay, good to know. And it says take 3 capsules daily, which is different actually, because I think most things it's like, oh, take 2 in the morning or whatever. Which now, I'm gonna try that in a drink or a tea or coffee or something. That's really cool.
Yeah, and you can take them all at the same time. You don't have to take them at different times. So you can take all 3, but it's a recommended dosage that will provide the best what's the word I'm looking for?
Results.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best result. I don't know why. What se me fue? But yeah,
that's all right.
The best results, you know, with, you know, just scientifically, they said that that's the best way to see a result faster and more effectively.
Yeah. And I want people to know, because I was experimenting. I, you know, took the capsule apart and I was like, lo tanteé, you know, like I tried it. And I was like, oh, it doesn't taste like amargo or bitter or anything like that. It was just powdery, just no particular flavor. So it shouldn't impact the taste of whatever you're drinking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like that so far, because I'm always like, you know, seeing what's inside.
Yeah. I have a friend, he actually takes the greñuda, and he has longer hair, and he also like is afraid that he's gonna start losing his hair. So he but he's like savage. He just dumps it like if it were a pixie stick, dumps the whole thing in his mouth, and
Wow.
he's like, yeah. So
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
everybody does it their own way, but the important thing is that you get the nutrients inside of you.
Yeah. And yeah, because I'm gonna encourage my kids to take it as well because
Yeah.
the food in the schools is horrible, and I'm always concerned about their health and nutrition. I want to point out too that I love your design.
Thank
It's
you.
colorful, very Latina. It makes me very proud. I'm not Mexicana, but I'm very proud of this, like for you, for your success, and that you represent Latino culture and Mexican culture with like échale ganas. Like, how often do you see a product that you're like, oh my gosh, that's my culture? Like, yeah, I'm not
Yes.
Mexican, but like, all Latinos, we say stuff like that. And you have English and Spanish information, like it's mixed, it's Spanglish, which totally speaks to me
Yes.
because I always do that. And the nutrition facts and your website and all that. So thank you for representing Latino culture this way, especially in the US, because a lot of us do the Spanglish mix all the time, like we don't even realize it sometimes.
Yeah.
I know that some people have a problem with that, but it is what it is, like there's a lot of us that do that.
Yeah.
And so tell us more. What are the other ingredients? Because you have the mood and stress support, the nail and hair, and what are the other two?
Yeah. So when you mentioned your children, I was actually going to tell you I recommend the Sana one
Oh,
because
yeah.
that one is immune support.
I love that. The name,
Yeah.
of course. It was like,
So it's a Sana
yeah.
Mijita. And yeah, this one's good for immune support. So like, especially, those kids, they go to school and they get sick, they pick up everything and they're always sick. And I'm like, yeah, we need strong immune supports in this family. So I recommend that one. And then the other one we have is our Booster Energy, which is an energy supplement. Also includes it increases libido. So it doesn't only give you energy, but it also increases libido, which I know that so many of us struggle with the older we get. So that one's also one of our top sellers.
Awesome. I love that. The Sana Mijita. When I saw that, I was like, oh, how cute. Because my kids to this day, they're 15 and almost 17. And when they get injured, they're like, Mom, can you do the Sana Colita de Rana? And I'm like, it's not like magic or anything, but could you do it anyway? I'm like, of course. I'll do it anyway when you're like 60 if I'm still alive.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate that very much. I love your brand, and I'll let you know how everything goes and leave a review. That's the other thing I want to tell people who are listening. If you're going to try it, or if you already are trying it, please leave a review, because that helps so many people, especially to dispel the myths about, supplements like these that are not created in like with some like fake synthetic, ingredients. And that helps Lizette a lot. And of course it helps her business. And we want to make sure that we continue to support our Latina entrepreneurs, especially when they're in this industry that is male dominated and where Latinas especially are rare to be seen. So Lizette, how can we help you aside from leaving a review or, like buying it? How else can we help you?
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick because it is so important. I know sometimes we have lives, we have so much going on, and it's hard to remember to come back and leave a review, but a review is so helpful. Not only for the purpose of yes, other people seeing it, but especially on a platform like Amazon that there's so much, right? There's so much. There's so many other supplements or something. But if you're loving a product, not just mine, but if you're loving a product and you want to continue to have that product, I need to be successful as a business owner to continue to bring this product to you. So, it's important in the aspect of other people seeing that you left this review and what you think, but also seeing that I'm able to have reviews. Say I have no reviews, right? And I place an ad on that product. Nobody's going to want to buy it because there is no review, right? They're like, what is this product?
Yeah.
There's no one's even buying it. Like they think no one's buying it because there's no reviews.
Yep.
In reality, people are buying it. They're just not leaving the reviews, right? So when you put reviews, say I have 20, 50 reviews and I put an ad on that and people come in and they're like, oh yeah, look, all these people are leaving reviews. They like this product. Then they're like, okay, let me order this product. So, that seriously does go a long way. So if you have bought the product or you're purchased a product, that's the biggest thing you can do for me, honestly, at this point, because we are still actively trying to grow the brand, right? And then, I invite you to come and join me every Wednesday on my Instagram account. I always like to share about other Latinas doing amazing things, which you've been there, Dali. And, we have so much fun just talking about, everything, either business, momhood, our Latinidad, the struggles that we go through, because sometimes we see people online, we see other people in business and they're like, they put this persona online, obviously, because yes, they want to, they don't want to depress people, right? By telling them all the bad things that are happening, right? So
yeah.
We, sometimes it's good to share those struggles so that people know, like, hey, everything is not perfect. Everything is not easy, but we're out here working and doing everything that we can, so we can succeed. And you can too, everybody can do this if they really want it bad enough.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. And do you have any pop-ups coming up or any places that you're going to be selling your product in person, in the Houston area?
Yes. So I will be, so next, the 16th, I believe, the 16th of April, I will be in Austin, actually. I will be doing a pop-up there. You can find all the information on my Instagram because I don't have it all at the top of my head, but I will be there for, I think it's a Selena Fest.
Oh, how
Selena
cool.
Fest there. Yes. And then we are going to be at the Frida Festival here in Houston at the Mecca, which will be at the end of April.
What?
I think it's like
There
April.
is a Frida Festival, man. I need
to
make
we
my
have
way
a
to
few
Houston.
actually here. It's so much fun. Yeah, we have a blast. And at the one at the Mecca, I think they're gonna have performances and all kinds of good stuff. So I'm excited for that event.
Oh, that is so cool. Yes, I'll stay tuned because I know that you also post on your website on Instagram, when you have events.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. Wow. Well, Lizette, it is an honor knowing you because I think you're probably one of, if not, I've never read of a Latina that has began a supplements line. And so I just feel honored. You're one of the first, unless you are the first. And that's really cool. I wish you nothing but success, and I will do my part. I'm going to leave a review and let others know. So everybody, please check out Madre Mia Belleza.com. I said that right?
Yes, MadreMiaBelleza.com. And Instagram, same thing, at Madre Mia Belleza. All our handles, everywhere you can find us under that, Madre Mia Belleza. So come check us out. Come learn more about, our products and what we have going on. And if you all have any questions at any point, whether you've purchased a product or thinking about purchasing the product, feel free to send me a message. I'm always close to my phone, so I will respond back. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lizette. We'll stay in touch.
Hey, did you like that episode? If you did, be sure to subscribe to this podcast wherever you may be listening and write a review. If you want more tips or some behind-the-scenes videos, make sure to follow my mom at Dalitalks on Instagram. You can turn on notifications for her posts and stories as well. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. See you next time.